Hello, hi. So I'm gonna be doing what I've been reading. This is my little snack. Recently, I've been getting back into reading comics, and so I'm gonna do a little like what I've been reading. So I'm gonna start with these ones, just because I am a yapper, and it's probably gonna take up the full 10 minutes. And yeah, first was Batman Hush. A lot of the books that I had bought were the DC Compacts. Everything they're really good, affordable way to read comics. They're, at least in Canada, they're like $13.50, but depending on where you go, the games are a lot cheaper. I got this one for like $11 at my local comic book shop, and I think it was even cheaper because it was during Free Comic Book Day, so they had a lot of deals. Anyways, this book is really good. I thought it would be a good first go back into, because Hush is a character that I'm not completely fully aware of. Like, I only know him from Arkham City and Arkham Asylum, the Arkham games, and so I thought it was a good to read where he came from. I am a big fan of like the art style of this book. As you can see here, I think it does a really good job of like the art is just really gorgeous. I think this is Jim Lee. Yeah, this is him, the goat. And so I think it's really good. The story is amazing. It follows the mystery of who's Hush, and you know, it interconnects with Batman, Superman. It also interconnects with like Dick Grayson, who's in there as well. It just feels like an overall like a good story. I don't want to say too much of these like little reviews, just because I want people to actually go and read it themselves. But one of my favorite parts of the book is the relationship between Selena and Bruce. And my favorite fictional romance in any film media is Batman and Calvin. So this is a really good book for it to start. And one negative though is that the book at the end kind of just ends. Like, we get the reveal, and then it just ends. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, that is Batman Hush. So the next book that I read was Batman Court of Owls. This one is one that I started to read back in 2021 or 2022. Whenever Gotham Knights was getting announced, I started it and never finished it. I didn't even think I got up to the part where the Court of Owls were introduced. So getting to read this, I was just like, oh my gosh, the Court of Owls. I am a big fan of like the artwork of this. This is really pretty. A lot of the book is like drawn really well. My favorite part of the book is the part where like slight spoilers, but Bruce is in the labyrinth. He's going cuckoo banana nuts, and so like you as the reader, you're reading the chapter, you're like, okay, cool, like he's in this crazy asylum, and then the book starts flipping around. So like this is it, normal comic book, normal book, and then it's like, oh, now you have to read the book like this, and then you'll flip a couple pages, and then the book you have to read it upside down, or yeah, upside down. And so it's just like, it's kind of like a lot, but I like it because like Bruce is going crazy, and then I feel like as the reader having to do all of these like flips and turns to read the book, you kind of go crazy as well. And so I think it was very good, very interactive, and I like when stories do that, especially in like physical media, where it's like not really a you don't actively do anything just besides reading and visualizing, but like this makes you do a bunch of things. So I really liked it for that. Overall, I thought the story was great. I thought Bruce as a character, he was going through this like, oh, I don't believe in court owls because they're not real. I've done my detective work, and it's kind of like him having to like retrace his steps to be like, oh no, these people are real and they're dangerous. And so I thought the ending was also really good. This one, I rereading it, I thought at first I thought they rushed the ending, but I do appreciate the ending now that I have finished it a second read. But yeah, no, this is my personal favorite, and out of all the books I bought, this is one that I have actually done a second reading of. So yeah. So the third book that I read was Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This one is a really good book. I read this because the movie was coming out, and I was like, let me read it before the movie, and so I did. First of all, I want to say the art in this book, it is gorgeous. Like, it is super pretty. it is also very unique. It almost reminds me of like it's a coral reef in a way. Like that's like the vibe I can explain best. Is like it gives me coral reef vibes. So like this. Yeah, so like it is a very visually stunning book. The story I really did enjoy because like I like Supergirl over Superman. I don't know if that's controversial, especially like this version and especially in the movie as well. I think Kara is a little more rugged and a lot less like Boy Scout than Superman. And I know this is a whole MO, but I do always felt that like Kara, because of her trauma of actually being on Krypton and experiencing that life and then having to see it all go kaboom, and then having to re-assimilate into, or kind of learning to assimilate herself into Earth. She has a different struggle compared to Clark, which is just like, he was born in Krypton, but he was just like raised on Earth, so he doesn't have that experience. And so this book really does show that as well. I also really did like that the book is actually told by I'm gonna say Ruth, but she's everything's from her POV, and I like that she's kind of a narrator who's very self-aware, and she's also like it feels like a friend who's telling you the story. And there's like certain parts where she's just like, I'm gonna tell you this part, but I'm gonna cut it short. Dot 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 dot. And so I just thought that was really cool. I thought it made it very enjoyable, and I think this is a book that I would actually prefer to get in the paper trade version. I think that's what it's called. Just because I think the art is so pretty that I would love to have it in like a better quality. And I don't mind the quality of the DC compacts, but I totally understand where people would prefer to get these books in like the regular version, so then you can actually get that better texture for the book. So yeah. And then the last of my DC compacts that I have read. This one I just finished yesterday. It is Green Arrow Year 1. So since Absolute Green Arrow have came out, I have been on a Green Arrow run. Like I really love Green Arrow. I've always kind of liked Green Arrow from like the shows, on like Young Justice, and especially with Artemis. Like I always liked him as a character. He was my favorite character and my go-to in both Injustice games. He's one of those characters who I mastered the move list. And so, but I actually never really read any of his comics, so this was a good introduction. The art style in this one, to me, it is, out of the books I've read, it's my least favorite, but it's not bad. It's serviceable. Here is like how it is. But I do like how like grounded the art is, because I think this is not a fantastical story. Like Hush, it's like your Batman story that's a little more on the fantastical side just because of like mind control and all of that. Court of Owls is a little horror and psychological, so it fits into that art style. And then like Supergirl is a full-on like sci-fi, so it's a little that. So everything that I've read, this one is a lot more grounded, but I did appreciate the art style being grounded because it is a grounded story. And I think something that I have realized with like the Absolute Green Arrow and then reading like regular Green Arrow issues is that his comics are very political, and in the best way. I would like my media to have a little bit of politics and social commentary, and his books so far that I've read have always had something like that. So I do appreciate that in a lot of ways. I'm gonna show more like of the art, but yeah, no, I really like this one. The story is really good. From what I know prior to reading this, is like he's a rich guy who's kind of an asshole, gets thrown onto an island, survives the island, and changes his whole POV of life. And he comes back and becomes the Green Arrow. But like this, seeing it and reading it, it really does change my whole perspective. And honestly, like I can confidently rank like Green Arrow as like one of my like favorite superheroes. And like on DC and Marvel, like he's just so good. But yeah, I hope that was a good video. This is my first time doing this in this format, so I want to get more comfortable doing it. Oop, my phone's dying. I want to get more comfortable doing that in this format and kind of showing a little more of my personality.